أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأني أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد يقول المولى في كتابه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ربي شرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد أيضا بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس والبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in his blessed book, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, the month of Ramadan in which the Quran was revealed. هدى للناس والبينات من الهدى والفرقان, as a guidance to mankind and a criterion from right and wrong. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this blessed book, which is his speech, directly from him to Jibreel alayhi salam, to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, on a day in the Mount of Hira, when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam would go often in seclusion to contemplate on the world, on himself, on creation, on the moons, the stars, and why on earth his people used to worship idols. And there came to him a man as a bright light and said to him, Iqra, read. And the Prophet ﷺ replied, Ma ana biqari', I cannot read. And he said to him again, Iqra. And the Rasul ﷺ said, Wa ma ana biqari', and I can't read. And he said to him again, Iqra bismika alladhi khalaq, khalaqa al-insana min alaq. He said, read in the name of your Lord who created man from al-alaq, from the hanging piece. And this was the start of the bi'athah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It was in the blessed month of Ramadan, الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, the month in which the Quran was revealed. And we obviously, in the month of Ramadan, we go and pray the Salatul Taraweeh in the masajid, and a lot of them, they do the Khatm al-Quran. They try and recite the whole Quran in this blessed month. But unfortunately, some of them try and get it out of the way, as we know. They try and super speed the way through the Quran, because they see the Quran is just something to be recited, and the month of Quran is like a chore to go through the Quran. And some others, they go to the masajid where they have the ai''mah, the imams have a nice recitation to listen to the sweetness of the Quran, the sweetness of the person's voice. But this is not the Quran. The Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from himself. The Lord of the heavens, the creator of every particle in your body, the creator of every particle in the sun, the causer of the explosions in the universe, the causer of the solar eclipse that happened a month ago, and also not too long ago they call it there was like a fireworks, a cosmic fireworks. People were seeing meteors and shooting stars happening. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the cause of all this, Allah who said, Kun fayakun, be, and then the universe was. The universe that is so huge that the people that look with their telescopes can only see a small portion of the universe. We live we don't even live in a pinprick of the universe. It is unbelievably huge. And Allah said, kun fayakun. Be, and then it was. And this universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, this is the awwal sama'. It is the first heaven. It is the lowest heavens. The whole universe is just the lowest heavens. And the comparison between this heaven and the one above it is like a ring in the ocean. I mean, it's nothing. This awwal sama' is nothing in comparison to the next one. And the second sama' in comparable to the one above it again is like a ring in the ocean. And that's why it's not Jannah, it is Jinan. It is not Jannah, one paradise, it is Jinan, it is many. The owner of all of this, the one who said kun fayakun, be, and it was, this is His speech. This is Him speaking to you. Ya Bani Adam. So when you go to the masajid and you listen to the Salatul Taraweeh and listen to the recitation of the Qur'an, it is as if Allah is speaking to His congregation from above the seven heavens. This is the qawlullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the Lord of the mighty throne speaking to His servants. So this is the Qur'an, and this is the month of the Qur'an. Inshallah, we'll read a couple of pages from this book, which is called The Essential Elements of the Islamic Nafsiyah, on the chapter of maintaining the recitation of the Qur'an. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The noble Qur'an is the speech of Allah, which He revealed to His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam via the revelation through Jibreel alayhi salam in word and meaning, whose recitation is an act of worship, and it is a miracle transmitted to us via the mutawatir narration. So this is the direct speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is from the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. There is no intermediary, there is no seance. This is directly from Allah from above the seven heavens, speaking to mankind. And it was revealed to us by a process called tawatur, which is impossible for this process to be wrong. Impossible for this process to be wrong. Every ayah in the Qur'an was collected from hundreds of different people saying exactly the same ayah in the Qur'an. And every ayah in the Qur'an is revealed by this process. It's impossible for it to be wrong. Unlike the Bible, when you find different Christians have different Bibles, different translations, different chapters, the Qur'an is the same from the first letter to the last letter. We have, in the month of Ramadan, many different people coming from different parts of the world to lead us in prayer. From Egypt, from Tunisia, from some of the Gulf countries. And when they recite the Qur'an in front of the people, if there's a mistake, some of the people behind them correct, isn't it? When there's a mistake, they will correct them. You made wrong letter here, or wrong word there, or you need to say this. But they're reading from exactly the same mushaf, the exact same Qur'an, without even a change in a single letter. And even there are some letters which is slightly different. These are, even in the Qur'an you will find sometimes it has a sad and it has a sin above it. Meaning both of them you can pronounce it. It's the same Qur'an. The same Qur'an that Jibreel alayhi salam revised to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam before he passed away, from the beginning to the end, is the same Qur'an I have in front of me now. And it is protected from any corruption, protected from change. You know, there was a couple of years ago, the Americans brought out a book called Al-Furqan in English, and they tried to change the Qur'an. They tried to confuse the Muslims and say this is a Qur'an.